Moses and the Exodus. God frees the Israelites from slavery in Egypt and parts the Red Sea. In the land of Egypt, beneath endless skies and along the flowing Nile, there lived a people who had forgotten freedom. The Israelites had become slaves, their backs bent under the weight of Pharaoh's bricks and mortar. Their cries rose like smoke into the heavens, year after year, and in the silence between those cries, an ancient promise stirred. In this time of suffering, a child was born. His mother, desperate to save him from Pharaoh's decree that all Hebrew boys must die, wove a basket of reeds and set him floating among the papyrus plants. Pharaoh's daughter found him there and named him Moses, meaning drawn out. The child who would one day draw his people from slavery was himself drawn from the river, raised in the palace of the very king who oppressed his people. Moses grew between two worlds, Egyptian in privilege, Hebrew in heart. One day, seeing an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, he struck down the Egyptian. When Pharaoh learned of this, Moses fled into the wilderness of Midian, where he became a shepherd, learning the quiet rhythms of desert life. Years passed slowly until one day Moses saw a bush that burned but was not consumed. From the flames, God called his name and spoke words that would change everything. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cry. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out. Moses returned to Egypt with his brother Aaron. They came before Pharaoh with a simple request: "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hard as stone, and he refused. Then began a contest between Egypt's power and the power of God. The Nile turned to blood. Frogs covered the land. Gnats, flies, disease, boils, hail mixed with fire, locusts in clouds that darkened the sun, and finally darkness so thick it could be felt. Plague after plague struck Egypt. With each one, Pharaoh seemed ready to yield, only to harden his heart again. Then came the final warning. At midnight, the firstborn throughout Egypt would die. But the Israelites were told to mark their doorframes with the blood of a lamb, and when God saw the blood, he would pass over those houses. This was the Passover. At midnight, a cry went up throughout Egypt. In every Egyptian household, the firstborn was dead. Pharaoh summoned Moses in the darkness and said, "Go, leave my people. Take everything and go." The Israelites left in haste, a multitude beyond counting, taking their flocks and the wealth of Egypt. God led them toward the Red Sea by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. But Pharaoh's heart stirred with regret. He prepared his chariots and pursued them with all Egypt's might. When the Israelites saw the Egyptians approaching, terror seized them. Before them lay the sea, behind them the chariots. They were trapped. But Moses said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." The pillar of cloud moved behind them, separating the two armies. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind. The waters divided, and the Israelites walked through on dry ground, with walls of water on their right and left. The Egyptians pursued them into the sea. But at daybreak, the Lord threw the Egyptian army into confusion, jamming their chariot wheels. Moses stretched out his hand again, and the waters flowed back, covering the chariots and horsemen. Not one Egyptian survived. The Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground and saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. Then Moses and the people sang to the Lord, and Miriam took a timbrel, leading the women in dancing. They were free. After 400 years of slavery, they were delivered. The sea that had nearly been their grave became their salvation. Before them lay the wilderness and beyond it, a promised land. The journey had only begun, but on that shore, with morning sun rising over the water, they rested. They had been slaves, and now they were free. The story of their liberation would be told forever, a story of waters parted, of darkness turned to dawn, of slavery turned to freedom.